I'm Liv, a certified personal trainer. What are 3 daily habits you can put into place in your life that will really help you with midlife fatigue? If you're like me, as you've gotten older, you find that you tend to be more fatigued and tired than usual, even if your routine is the same and you feel that you're sleeping well. Here are some things that I've incorporated into my life that are popular things that are talked about in the research space and the menopause space that you can put into place in your daily routine to really help you with some of that fatigue. The first one, we've all heard this before, but we sometimes don't pay attention: water, hydration. So a habit that I've recently put into place for myself is when I get out of bed in the morning, I have my water bottle right on my nightstand, and I drink 1 to 2 cups worth of water. So in the past, in my routine, I generally would have coffee for my first drink. But it's really important as we get older to replenish the water that our bodies lost during the night. So this is a real simple habit you can build in. Add water to your morning routine. The second thing that I do every morning is a quick mobility routine. So as I've gotten older, my joints get stiffer. I still follow a really hard strength training program. So I'm lifting really heavy. My joints, my tendons, my muscles, I have a lot of aches and pains. So a quick mobility workout can really help you get ready for the day. Things that I like to focus on in that routine are some quad and hamstring stretching. I like to then move into child's pose. Child's pose is really helpful for relaxation and mobility in your hips. And it's also been shown to help with pelvic floor health, to do child's pose and do some slow, deep breaths. And the last one that is really important for me is hip openers. So we don't use our hips well. We don't use our hips often for full range of motion. We're often sitting, standing, sitting, standing. So our hips are just always moving in one direction. So thinking about rotating the hips and rotating those joints back and forth, that can really help with your functional movement. If you're lifting weights, it really helps with squatting and deadlifting. But even if you're not lifting weights, that hip mobility really just helps with simple things like if you're on the floor, getting up off the floor, right? So you want your hips to stay healthy and you want those joints to stay mobile. So those are my quick tips: water, mobility stretch. Last one, breathing exercise. I know this always seems boring. That's how I have always felt about breathing exercises, but you don't need to do anything special. There's all sorts of apps, and I'll get into specific breathing exercises in another video. But after you do that brief mobility work, just take a minute, sit, do some deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, and this can really help with stress. I know that morning can be a really stressful time for me. I have a Samsung watch and I have Samsung Health that I use to track things. And almost every morning, if I don't take time to do this, my watch will warn me that I'm under high stress. So just those movements of in the morning, getting ready, packing your lunch, checking your calendar, thinking about the day ahead, that can all be really stressful. So put these 3 habits into your morning. Let me know how they work. Share some helpful tips that you have. There's all sorts of great ideas and ways to add health and wellness into our morning routines. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you want more in-depth information, I have a great mini course that's available on basic strength training for beginners, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Hi there. Let's run through these mobility exercises that we just talked about so that you can see how simple they are, and I can try to explain some of the variations for you. All right, so we're working on our morning mobility. So you could do this after your cardio session, or you could do this alone. There's times where I do this in the morning in my bathrobe before I head in to get ready for work. So the one thing I like to start with is a nice quadricep stretch. So often when we're sitting all day, our quadriceps, as you can see with me kind of sitting, they're shortened, they're tightened, they're not elongated. That can lead to pain in your hip flexor, mobility problems, and just make it hard for you to do functional movements. So I like to use an exercise ball to kind of stabilize me, but you can hold on to anything, your couch, your chair, a table. So my left leg right now is the one that we're stretching. So I've got my right leg, foot on the ground, my left leg, I'm on my knee, and do this on carpeting or put a small mat down so you don't hurt your knee. And then we're just going to kind of push our pelvis forward, tighten our left glute, and you're going to start feeling that stretch in the front of your quadricep. In a minute, we'll switch sides so you can see a little better. So I'm stretching my left. I like to take my left arm up and just reach over the opposite way. You'll really feel that stretch down your hamstring and your quadricep, not hamstring. You'll really feel it down your quadricep and your hip flexor. And then I come back. You can then at the same time take this leg, straighten it lightly, and just give that hamstring a gentle stretch. Now, especially if you have not exercised right before this and you're not warm, you don't want to really stretch. You just want to give it a little gentle stretch to help you feel that you're kind of waking it up. All right, and you're going to come back. Now we'll switch sides. You might be able to see a little bit better here. So now I'm on my right knee. I'm going to stretch my right hip flexor and quad. So I'm going to hold on to this for a little stability so I don't tip over, but you can set your hand on anything, or you may not have balance issues like me. So now we're going to gently push this forward, tighten your glute, push through here. You're going to feel that. And take up that right arm, stretch it over. All right, so that's one stretch. Almost done. We're just gonna straighten out that left leg and gently stretch our hamstring. So you're just gently straightening your leg and leaning your butt back towards the wall behind you, dropping your butt down a little bit to just feel that stretch. That feels good. Now we're gonna go into child's pose. So child's pose is a yoga stretch, but it's a great stretch for everyone. So I like to widen my knees. I'm not the most flexible person. And then you're just going to walk yourself down and you're in child's pose. When you're down here, take a few deep breaths. Sometimes you can kind of play with the stretch. So, feel free to kind of reach one arm diagonally and feel that stretch down your side. You'll probably discover sore muscles or aches. And part of why we're doing this, right? You can also kind of set your head on your hands if that helps. All right, and then slowly push yourself back up with your hands. And now we'll go into our last mobility for our quick morning mobility workout, hip opener. So I don't have much room here in between these squat racks, but basically I usually set my feet about hip width, sometimes a little more, and then you're going to gently drop your hip down, drop your knees down to the right, I can definitely feel that here. I can feel a little bit in my right hip. Then we're going to just kind of flop on over to the other side. And once again, you should kind of feel that stretching. And then once you're comfortable with the position of your feet, you can kind of bring it back and forth. And then to really help you with that hip mobility, when you're on one of the sides, gently bring your upper body down over that knee. And then I usually just kind of rock around a little till I find those real tight hip spots. Get more of a stretch. This is something I always do right before leg day. Always. Without doing this, I'm just not going to be able to get into those squats. And then flip to the other side. You should find after you do this where you're lowering your torso down over each knee, you should find that then it releases a little more mobility, so that then if you're doing the move back and forth, it should feel a little looser, a little better. So those are my quick tips for a quick mobility workout. That took us just under 7 minutes to run through in real time. So this is something you can fit into your morning. You don't need to get up a half hour early. Squeeze this in 5 to 7 minutes. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel ready for your day. And your hips, your joints, your lower back is going to appreciate it.